Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello and welcome to round 18 of the AOR Hype Energy PS4 Oceania Mexican Grand Prix. My name is Expert and I'll be your commentator for tonight's race. We are here at the Mexican Grand Prix circuit, otherwise known as the Circuit Hermanos Rodriguez. I think it's not right, but anyway. This 4.304 kilometer circuit has 17 corners, 7 to the left and 10 to the right. We are located in the Mexico City and a total circuit length of 7.304 kilometers, as I said. The track record is a 1 minute 14.758 set by Max Verstappen. The Season 3 pole was taken by Rim Hugger with the 1 minute 13.426, and taking up the Season 3 podium was Eye Contrast F1, as it's known now. Took out the win ahead of Plebs in our league and Darren 11 in P3. We're going to have a quick look now at your results from the last outing at the Japanese Grand Prix. As you can see, Pete Crun took out the win around the Suzuka circuit by a pretty hefty margin, 7 seconds ahead of F1 Amazing in the end. 40 came home P3 on the podium for McLaren ahead of Plebs in the Renault and Swaggy in P5 for Alfa Romeo. Pete Crun also took pole with a 1 minute 27.440. As you can see now, our driver standings is F1 Amazing sitting on top at the moment, 36 points ahead of Pete Crun. This is definitely the two to be watching out for this afternoon. Then it will be Eye Contrast sitting in third at the moment. A pretty hefty margin between the front two compared to anyone else, and Spilly will be behind him on 129 points in P4. Plebs is right on the rear of that Racing Point, sitting in P5 on 123 points. Dubsy in the Ferrari in P6. P7 is the Racing Point of Crossy. P8 is Jay Banks. P9 will be Swaggy 291 and rounding out your top 10 in the championship will be the McLaren of 40. Storm McKenzie MP11 at the moment for Williams on 43 points. JB for McLaren 12, 13th X Revolution, 14th Aaron, 15th is the Gaming Wafer for Red Bull, 16th will be Harry Tomato, 17th will be the Rumble in the Toro Rosso, 18th will be Toddson 99 for Renault, P19 will be Andre GGMU. Also known now as Dr. Dre 3000, then rounding out your top 20 will be El Tonki in the Haas. And we're going to have a quick look now at your constructors standings. As you can see, Mercedes lead the way at the moment on 459 points compared to Williams on 380. Ferrari in P3 at the moment ahead of Racing Point in P4. Renault is sitting in 5th at the moment ahead of McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, Red Bull and Haas. We're going to go to the main screen now so I can hear the drivers heading out for their qualifying session. I do apologise as well before for the delay. Unfortunately, the PlayStation Network did crash and everyone had to restart the lobby. We had to restart the lobby and whatnot to get the race going. So as you can see, Storm McKenzie's the first of the runners to set their lap. He sets a 1 minute 15.268. Now Toddster quickly takes that away from him. Sorry, 1 minute 15.286 he set, and Todd's set a 14.6. Harry Tomato's going to slot into P3. Then Darren 11 now quickly goes into P2 for Toro Rosso, a 15 flat he sets. Darren making his return to the league after a few rounds missed. He was in contention for the title, but unfortunately, due to other commitments, he unfortunately had to miss. I think it was 5 or 6 rounds, I would say, he missed. A lot of the drivers now are either in the pit lane or setting their first lap. As you can see, Spilly's now moved into P3 for Racing Point. Sorry, I apologise, the audio was muted. So I believe Plebs is just starting his lap now. We're going to ride on board with him to see how to get a lap done of the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. Heading into turn 1, very easy to lock up. Same with this turn 2 here, also very easy. 2-corner cut through that first little chicane there. Gets a load of oversteer on the exit curve. That's not going to be a healthy run down this second DRS straight available to the drivers. Braking just off the 100 meter board for turn 5. Turn 4 rather. Turn 5 now. Cuts that corner pretty massively. I wouldn't be surprised if he invalidated his lap there. Through turn 6 and 7. Runs a little bit wide through the second part of that double apex, but still manages to get a decent run. Heading into the trickiest part of the circuit now. It's about how much speed you can carry through that section. Negotiates that pretty nicely there. Does the Renault driver of Plebs. Spilly gets out of the way in front of him, heading into the stadium section. Brake just before the light border on the right hand side of the track. Exiting the stadium section now through the penultimate corner. Now the final corner. He's coming across the line, keeps it nice and tight. Where's this going to move Plebs up to? Into P3. So now it is currently a Renault 2-3 at the moment. F1 Amazing also went on to pole position while we were going over Plebs' lap. He set a 1 minute 14.318. We're still yet to see a lap from P. Crichton. He's currently on his outlap at the moment. Our contrast is on his outlap. Swaggy is on his outlap as well. He'll be starting a lap. Aaron is still yet to come out of the pit lane. 40 looks like he's on a lap. We're going to ride on board with him as he's heading through the middle sector now. Through the middle sector he goes. Just a slight lift off for the McLaren driver. Gets through there nicely. Heading under the Fanatec board, he goes into the stadium section. Uses all the entry curb available to him. There's a Ferrari in front. I do believe that's eye contrast, so hopefully he gets out of the way. Through the penultimate corner now, under the Emirates board. He's actually coming into the pits now, is 40, so might have invalidated his lap, but now we can see Pete Crichton starting his lap as well. That was eye contrast, also starting his lap. Swaggy's halfway through his lap now. He's just crossed into Sector 2. Into Sector 3 he goes now. Does the Alfa Romeo driver. Into the stadium section as well. Into the hairpin. Gets it turned in very nicely. Probably corner cuts that corner a little bit there. Doesn't seem to have invalidated. Actually, I think he may have because he's now coming into the pit lane. Contrast is on a lap as well. Jay Banks is now starting a lap. The other Mercedes driver. The driver that actually replaced Darren Levin's seat. He's just completed his first sector as the Mercedes driver. But currently, as it stands with 10 minutes and 40 seconds to go, F1 Amazing sits on pole position with a 1 minute 14.518. Currently at the top of the standings. 1/10 behind him is Toddson 99 with a 1 minute 14.6. Around 3/10 behind him is his teammate Plebs in P3. P4 is Darren Levitt. Now P. Crichton goes to pole position with a 1 minute 14.4. 1/10 of a second quicker than his rival in P2 of F1 Amazing Hour. Anyway, Darren Levin's still sitting in P5 at the moment for Toro Rosso. Looks like he's starting his second run now. Spilly is heading out of the pits for his second run in the Racing Point. Stuart McKenzie in P7 for Williams. P8 is eye contrast. Then it'll be the Alfa Romeo of Harry Samato, who looks like he is on a lap at the moment. Then the Gaming Wef is currently the last of the drivers to have set a lap in P10 at the moment. Swaggy is in P11. He's exiting the pits for his second run. Unfortunately, I think he invalidated his first run. But still, McKenzie's now moved up into P4. So that must be a very nice lap there from the Williams driver. Aaron in P12 for Haas still has not set a lap, nor has Jay Banks or 40. Crossy is out of the pits now. Looks like he's on an out lap, or may have backed out of his first lap by the looks of it. P. Crichton's going to be coming into the pits now. Look, by the looks of it, he may only get 2 runs in potentially. Amazing House setting out for his second run. He's got Darren 11 in front of him. Currently a very strong performance from the 2 Renault drivers as well, sitting in P3 and 5 at the moment. Nice job there from the Works Renault team. As you can see, that's one of the Renaults heading out of the pit lane now. That looks like that is Toddster by the looks of it. No, it is actually Plebs. Never mind. So he's exiting the pit lane now. He's got the Racing Point. I do believe that is Spilly, who is starting his second run now. So Spilly looks to be one of the first drivers to do their second run. He just exited the first sequence of corners. Ran it out very wide there. Wouldn't be surprised if he did invalidate his lap time. Heading into turn 4 he goes now. Through turn 5. Gets through there pretty nicely. Into the double apex of 6 and 7. Runs a little bit wide. Slides it into the corner. It's going to affect him with his straight line speed. Heading down that short straight. Hello, welcome to the stream, RBR. And BRL Jared. Oh, he's unfortunately made a mistake there. Has Spilly. He's backed out of his laps. Unfortunately, he ran a little bit wide or just didn't get the car turned into the final part of the middle sector. F1 Amazing Hour is on his lap as well. He's just exited the first sequence of corners. Heading into turn 4 he goes. Down to second gear. Down to first briefly. For turn 5. Into the double apex. Turns it a little bit earlier than I think he would have liked to. Heading into sector 2 he goes now. Locks up the inside front and the outside tire, but luckily still got it turned in. Through the chicane he goes. Gets through there pretty nicely under the Fanatec board. Into the stadium section he's heading. He's got a McLaren in front of him of 40. Did cut that corner pretty hefty. There did Amazing Hour. Penultimate corner now under the Emirates board. Keeping it tight. Up to the line he goes. Will he go faster? No, he doesn't go faster. He's 3/100ths of a second exactly slower than his rival Pete Crichton at the moment. Pete Crichton is on an outlap at the moment. I've tried to do a little bit of math to see if Amazing Hour is able to win the title this round, but I've done it, and next round, if I'm pretty sure he can win the title if Pete Crichton has a bad race today. But he can't win it so far. If he wins today, he still can't win the title at all. So we'll have to carry that on to next round, which I do believe is at the USA. As Spilly now goes into P3 for Racing Point. 14.6, that's not too bad. 2/10 off the front two. As now Swaggy actually goes faster. On pole position, the Alfa Romeo driver goes with a 14.2. Nice lap there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Looks like there will be 3 drivers in potential contention. Plebs has actually moved himself up into P4 now, just briefly behind F1 Amazing Hour's time. So you got a couple of drivers now that are possibly in contention for pole. Swaggy's hitting a very nice lap there in that Alfa. 2/10 up on anyone else as it stands. 40 has now gone into P3 with a 1 minute 14.43. So now this looks like there's 5 drivers, but Pete's heading through the middle sector now. I'm not too sure if that said he was up on his time. He's 3/1000ths of a second. Hundredths, I should say. Up on his time. Now says he's a 10th up, but unfortunately he's made a mistake. He's run a little bit wide on his lap there. Will he just come to the pits? Because I'm not too sure. He definitely would have lost a lot of time there. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in the pits this lap, because he did make that mistake. No, he's continuing on. He's obviously still going quick. He's going to come across the line now. Here's Pete Crichton. He goes 1/10 up, but he definitely lost a little bit of time heading into the stadium section. So he's got to get around back to the pits very quickly if he wants to get another run in. Voice crack. But anyway, Jay Banks has now got himself up into P6 for Mercedes. Currently a Mercedes 2.6 as it stands. I'm going to run through your order with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. This man is currently sitting on pole position with a 1 minute 14.2, a 10th quicker than anyone else as it stands, ahead of Pete Crichton in the Mercedes. Then it'll be 40 in P3 for McLaren. 5 different teams in the top 5 as it stands. F1 Amazing are sitting in P4 for Williams. Darren 11 now into P5. He goes for Toro Rosso. Now that makes it 6 different teams in the top 6. Plebs has now gone into P6 as well with a 14.4. Very tight between the top 6 as it stands. Top 7 actually. J Banks is in P7 as it stands for Mercedes. P8, a little bit behind the top 7 there is the 2 Racing Points. Very tight between those 2 as well, of Spilly and Crossy. 1/100th of a second, I should say, between them two. Todsa in P10 as well, rounding out your top 10. Eye contrast looks like he's struggling a little bit as it stands. He's not up where I think he would like to, but it's a very tight field here around the Mexican Grand Prix. A lot tighter than what we've normally seen. Still McKenzie in P12 at the moment. Was looking good at the beginning of the qualifying session, but it looks like he's starting a lap now. No, he's actually coming into the pit lane. Harry Tomato in P13. He'll want to be up where his teammate is in P1, but I do believe this will be his third, maybe second and final run here for the Hairy Tomato. Let's see what he's able to do. He's currently the first of the drivers that have not been able to get into the 1 minute 14s. Heading through Sector 2, does Hairy Tomato potentially have cut that corner there? Runs really wide on exit. That's going to cost him a little bit, and looks like he's invalidated his lap time there, unfortunately. Has Hairy Tomato, so he may have to go again on this set of tyres if he wants to improve on his time, because he will not have enough time to go back around to put a new set of tyres on and get out. He actually may, to be honest, if he gets into the pits quick enough, he may be able to chuck a fresh set on. I think that's what he's aiming to do. Gaming Wafer looks like he's one of the first to blink to head out of the pits. Actually, no, Spilly is the first out of the pit lane, so he wants to have some free air to do his lap. He's heading into the stadium section now, the final sector of the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. Looking to start his lap now. Through the final corner, the Racing Point driver goes. He is starting his final run here for the qualifying session of the AOR Hype Energy PS4 Oceania League. Heading up into turn 1 now, under the Petronas sign, the Racing Point driver goes. Using all the track on entry. He's got a Mercedes in front of him. I think that is Jay Banks, potentially P. Crichton. He's actually backed off his time now, has Spilly. So he may have actually, he did stuff up turn 1. He did slide the rear into there pretty badly, so he will have enough time to go back around to set another lap on these tyres, but he will have worn them out a little bit just heading through that turn 1 and sliding the car out as much as he did. Currently the driver at risk of not being out in the top 10 is currently Todser, so he's going to be wanting to make a statement here and trying to move up a few more positions with his teammate Plebs in P6. Majority of the drivers are on their out lap now. Definitely going to be very tight between who gets pole position. 50 seconds remain in this session. It's yellow flag in Sector 3. I'd probably just say that driver's backing up. As you can see, it is. Driver's trying to get some space. Hairy Tomato is now retired from the session. He doesn't think he's going to go any faster, but P. Crichton heads into turn 1, locks up the inside front very briefly. Did make him understeer a little bit. Todds is now retired from the session, so that's unfortunate for the Renault driver. Doesn't think he's going to get any quicker. It was actually Todds' retired car that nearly got in the way of the Mercedes driver. So we're going to have a look now, see what time, if he's up on his time at all. He's 4/100ths of his second up on his time at the moment. So that, I do believe that will just be enough to get Swaggy. But he probably will need to improve a little bit more if he wants to manage to keep that pole position. But he's got a lot of oversteer now. Has P. Crichton. He definitely cut that left-hander there. He could have potentially invalidated his lap time. He's 1/10 of a second slower or down on his time at the moment, so he's going to have to get a really nice final sector here. Is P. Crichton if he wants pole position. The checkered flag is out, so the drivers will not be able to start another lap from now. Heading to the final corner, does P. Crichton able to, improve on his lap? No, he doesn't. He's unfortunately a 10th down, and fortunately through that second sector there, he completely screwed it. Jay Banks now, his teammate, has moved up into P5 ahead of Darren Levin in P6. Amazing how he's going to come across the line. Will he be able to go to pole position? He does not. Unfortunately, he only improves by 6/100ths of a second. Will 40 be able to improve on his time? It looks like he's backed out, so that's unfortunate for him. Sailor Swaggy, so Swaggy and 40 have unfortunately not set a faster time, and they've had to come into the pit lane. Will Plebs be able to do anything? He is still on a lap. He's heading to the final sector now, but he's locked the inside front, and unfortunately he's stuffed it. He locked the inside front and lost the rear. What's Crossy doing? He's going to come across the line now, but unfortunately he did not improve on his time. And that looks like that will be your AOR Hype Energy PS4 Oceania qualifying session complete. Swaggy in the Alfa Romeo takes pole position, with P. Crichton sitting in P2 at the moment. That's your front row of the grid, an Alfa Romeo and a Mercedes. And on your second row, it will be the McLaren of 40 and F1 Amazing Hour. But as you can see now, these are your provisional results. The two championship rivals or contenders, P-Crun and F1 Amazing will be starting right behind each other. J Banks will be in P5 for Mercedes. Darren 11 with his return to the league will be P6 for Toro Rosso. But let's have a look here. As you can see, the top 13 are covered by 0.5 of a second, and the top 6 are covered by just under 1/10 of a second. Plebs came home in P7 for Renault ahead of the 2 racing points of Crossy and Spilly and Crossy. Stuart McKenzie came home P10. Todster will be the first of the drivers that has a free set of tyres to use ahead of Aaron, Eye Contrast, Harry Tomato and the Gaming Wafer. We're going to let the drivers now head over to the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. As you can see now on your screens, the drivers are setting out for their formation lap. Looks like it will be a clear and dry race for the Mexican Grand Prix. In one, it will be the Alfa Romeo driver of Swaggy that set a blistering lap to go to pole position ahead of Pete Crine, who has been looking very quick, or has been very quick all the season, so it's very good. A very good job there of Swaggy to put that Alfa Romeo car into pole position. As I said before, Pete Crine will be starting in P2. MP3 will be 40-22, splitting the 2 championship rivals of P-Crine and F1 Amazing Hour, himself being MP4 for Williams. P5 will be J Banks in the Mercedes car. Darren 11 will be in the Toro Rosso in P6 on the 3rd row. On the 4th row, it will be Plevs and Spilly for Racing Point. Then it will be Spilly's teammate Crossy and Stuart McKenzie on the 10th row, not the 10th row, the 5th row I should say. Then on the 6th row, it will be Todster and Aaron. 7th row will be Eye Contrast, who definitely will be disappointed with qualifying P13. But then again, you've got to remember there was 0.5 of a second from P1 to P13. Definitely going to be one to stick around for, folks. Harry Tomato in P14 for Alfa Romeo. Definitely will not be happy with that result either, considering his teammate was on pole position. And then rounding out the grid is the Gaming Wafer for Red Bull. Swaggy backing up the back now, trying to get as much heat into his tyres as possible. About to head over to the grid to form up in their grid positions. Let me know your top 3 predictions for the Mexican Grand Prix in the live chat. See all the drivers forming up now, waiting for the Gaming Wafer in the Red Bull. He'll be the last of the drivers to form up on the grid. In P15 is the Red Bull Honda driver. Waiting for the light sequence to begin. The voice cracks. Anyway, the light sequence has begun. 5 red lights for the AOR Hype Energy Mexican Grand Prix, and they are underway. It looks like Swaggy gets a pretty nice start there, but so does Gaming Wafer up the back. He's got a better start than Pete Crine. Actually, no, it's the other way around. Pete's got a better start. Then Swaggy then goes side by side, heading into turn 1. They're nearly 4 wide into turn 1. Amazing. I was trying to slip down the inside of Pete Crine, heading into turn 1. He still put his nose in there, and it looks like the 2 rivals have made contact. F1 Amazing Hour and Pete Crine did make contact, and that's 40 that has been spun around at the back. I think that was actually Amazing Hour's fault there. That 40 did spin around. Amazing Hour tried to make it 3 wide or 4 wide into turn 1. He did make contact with his rival of Pete Crine in front of him. And I think in the second part of the corner, he unfortunately turned across 40. So now he's unfortunately dropped all the way back down to P9. Wouldn't be surprised if Amazing Al does have a bit of damage from making contact there with the Mercedes in front of him. Doesn't look like it visually, but definitely doesn't mean that there is. Darren 11 has moved up 2 spots into P4 for Toro Rosso. Plebs has moved up 2 spots as well, as has Spilly. Stuart McKenzie's moved up into P7. P8 is J Banks F1. He's unfortunately dropped a few spots off the start. Swaggy now goes fastest as he is the first driver to cross the line for completing the first lap of the Mexican Grand Prix. 40 is now dropped down to P9, unfortunately, for McLaren. He's going to have a little bit of work to do. He's got J Banks in front of him. Toddler is in P10 now. He's the first of the drivers on a fresh set of tyres. Aaron's now up into P11 from P12. Crossy's unfortunately dropped a spot. And now he's trying to go down the inside of Aaron, heading through turn 1. It looks like Aaron will have the inside line, but he did cut that corner. And I Contrast now is going to try and make a move. They're going to go side by side, heading down the second DRS straight. Crossy's trying to give Aaron the slipstream. Then down the straight they go. Will Crossy come across by Contrast? He does, and now Aaron will have the inside line for the next corner, but it looks like Contrast was deeper under brakes and manages to move himself up into P12. Dropping Aaron down to P13. Harry Tomato is right in that battle as well, and unfortunately the gaming wafer, I do believe, may have actually pitted. I'm going to have a quick look. No, yes, he did make a pit stop there. Did the gaming wafer unfortunately must have got some damage off the start of the race, but Swaggy now about to end lap 2 of 36 in this Mexican Grand Prix. Leads away ahead of P. Crine, who is still right with him. F1 Amazing Hours there as well. The 2 title contenders sitting in P2 and 3 at the moment. Darren 11 in P4 as well for Toro Rosso. P5 will be the Renault of Plebs. This is a complete slipstream fest down the straight. Plebs is definitely going to have to try and catch up to the rear of that Toro Rosso of Darren in front of him if he wants to keep with that train. DRS is now enabled, so the drivers will be able, the voice crack, will be able to open the rear flap on their rear wing. But Spilly's actually done what he did in qualifying, made a little mistake there. Through turn 1, lost the rear, and now Stuart McKenzie's going to have DRS. No, he won't actually, because the detection zone is before the lap. But anyway, he's going to try and move down the inside now with Stuart McKenzie. He's going to get down the inside. Spilly does cut him off though in that racing point. Doesn't give that Williams any room whatsoever. It wasn't really there though, was McKenzie, so he probably had the right away, did Spilly. J Banks is right behind that Williams as well in P8. P9 is Todster, who's unfortunately dropped off a little bit. He's going to have to try and catch up to J Banks. Crossy is in P10 at the moment. Contrast has moved up into P11. He's up 2 spots. Aaron sitting in where he qualified at the moment in P12 ahead of Harry Tomato in 13th. Then 40 unfortunately has dropped back down to P14. Did he make a pit stop as well? He has made a pit stop, so he's going to probably be doing the 2 stop here. Is 40, as he is now on the medium tyre. Gaming Wafer has also made a pit stop, so currently 40 and Gaming Wafer are the first drivers to make a pit stop in this Grand Prix. Heading on to lap 4, the drivers now go. And that's actually Amazing now that has moved ahead of P. Crichton. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. That kind of annoys me that I didn't get that. But now Swaggy is feeling under pressure. And now he's going to have to try and defend from F1 Amazing. He's really deep under brakes. And Amazing moves into the lead of the Grand Prix. It's yellow flag in Sector 2. I kind of want to see what that was for. And that was J Banks. That has unfortunately spun around at turn 1. So that's going to be dropping that Mercedes car way down. But Swaggy's right there. He's making a move on Amazing for the lead. They both lock the inside front, and now he's got to defend. As Amazing tries to do the switchback, but Swaggy really dives down the inside. He's tried to make a move, but Amazing has blocked the inside line. And now the Williams driver moves up into the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, but Swaggy is right with him still. They do actually make nose to rear contact. There does Swaggy and Amazing. Darren's actually now moved ahead of Pete in the Toro Rosso. Plebs is still struggling to catch up. He's got Stuart McKenzie behind him. He's made a move on Spilly, has Stuart. Pete's now dropped massively. He's dropped down 2 positions from where he qualified. He'll be wanting to move up that grid a bit more. Darren taking a very narrow line into the penultimate corner. But now it's going to be a complete slipstream fest and DRS fest down into turn 1. Amazing will be running in hot lap. No, he's only running an overtake, but Swaggy is a little bit further behind at the moment. He's running slipstream and DRS is Swaggy. Will he dive down the inside into turn 1, or will he wait for turn 4? Because there will be another DRS straight directly after this. But now Darren's actually moved ahead of F1 of Swaggy. I have a feeling that Swaggy and Pete are also trying to work with Darren here. Darren seems to be quicker by the looks of it, and he's trying to get ahead of F1 Amazing Hour. So now that moves Darren up into P2 and Swaggy, our pole position man, down to P3. Plevs has finally caught up to the rear of this train. Besides Mackenzie, Spilly slightly off the rear of that train. Toddy's moved up ahead of Crossy now in the racing point. J Banks is the final driver within the top 10. He's got a contrast right behind him in the Ferrari. Harry Tomato in P12. 13th is Aaron L3F4. That should be better. Shrieking. I think that's how you say your name. I was running it a bit higher just to see how it would go, but it's obviously not working. So hopefully that fixes it. I do apologise for that. But now Darren moves into the lead of the Grand Prix, as we just saw there. Darren was looking a lot racier than these other drivers. So now I wonder if Darren, because I know Darren and Pete will definitely be working together. Now F1 Amazing has to settle for P2 as it stands. Stuart McKenzie and Plebs are going at it now. Stuart McKenzie, I do believe, just tried to make a move on Plebs. But now there's actually, the top 7 are all really close to each other. This is definitely going to be a very tight battle. And someone let me know in the chat as well if that did fix the bit rate. And hopefully it's a bit better. It should be better. This is getting very tight here for the lead. We are only on lap 6. There's 30 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. But currently the top 7. We'll have a quick look here. The top 7 are currently within just under 3 seconds. But now, as you can see, Amazing Hour's actually having to defend from Pete Cry. He's got down the inside now. Has Pete, and he's going to try and get past F1 Amazing Hour, but he's actually lagged forward a little bit there. Has the Williams or had the better traction, but Pete's going to have the slipstream and DRS now. He unfortunately has no ERS to use here. I think Spilly's just sitting behind here, behind Petey, who's not trying to make a move. He's trying to bump draft him, if anything. Pete's got a little bit of ERS saving he's got to try and do here, but unfortunately he's got none to use, and he did lock up the inside front tyre at turn 1. Spilly looks like now he's got ahead of Plebs, and so is Stuart McKenzie. So Plebs has dropped a few positions here. Now McKenzie and Spilly are going at it, and Spilly got forced out wide, and he's made contact there with Plebs. Plebs just cut across him there, so I'm not too sure if Plebs realised that that racing point was still down his inside. He hasn't lost too much ahead, Spilly. He's only got a little bit of seconds he's got to try and make up to catch back up to Plebs. Darren's trying to get out of the slip or DRS range of F1 Amazing Hour. But Pete's unfortunately got no ERS. He's been known for that. He's been known for using a lot of ERS in the early laps and then been having to save throughout the rest of the race. He's going to have slipstream here and DRS. Will Amazing Hour as well? No, he does not. Actually, he does. I do apologise for that. I forgot that the DRS thing was fair way down. But at the moment, Amazing Hour and Amazing Hour and Pete have pretty much the same gap between Amazing Hour and well, the top 3 are all pretty much evenly split, is a better word. The Swaggy I definitely know that these Pete Crichton and Swaggy and Darren will be working together to try and move up a few more positions. Stuart McKenzie in P5 at the moment. He's unfortunately dropped off a little bit, but Plebs is now in the pit lane. He's coming in for a very early stop. He's trying to get out of that battle pack just to try and potentially undercut a few drivers that are battling. 40 is now moved up ahead of Plebs into P13. He goes for the McLaren team. Toddy's starting to cause a little bit of a train behind him with Crossy, J-Banks, contrast. Aaron's fallen off a little bit. He's got Harry Tomato. He's got to try and get past 40. Is the first. Jesus Christ. Anyway, 40 is the first of the drivers that have made a pit stop. So is Plebs and the Gaming Wafer. I'm going to see here. It doesn't actually look like Amazing Hour has DRS this lap either. He's 1.2 seconds behind Darren 11, but look who does have DRS. It is Pete Crichton in front of him will have DRS. Amazing will not get any slipstream from the driver in front of him either. I'm not sure what's happening with the Xbox race. Downing. But anyway, Pete's definitely got a very nice run out of that turn 3 there. He's unfortunately not close enough. He's trying to just save ERS here. As you can see, he's running in none and low down that straight just to try and save as much as possible. You can see here, he's currently sitting on 30, around that 30% mark. And his rival, F1 Amazing Hour, sitting on 83. But Darren's definitely going to be trying to extend that lead on F1 Amazing Hour. Make sure he stays out of that DRS range. He's right on the rear now of that Williams is Pete Crichton. Swaggy is still just narrowly holding on there. Mackenzie's starting to slow off a little bit. He's starting to lack off the back of that train now. Will we see a few more drivers come into the pits this lap? Will we see Amazing Hour or Pete come into the pits? We're going to see Pete Crichton try and do the undercut on Amazing Hour. He comes into the pits on lap 10 of this Grand Prix. Swaggy stays out for another lap. He will be in the DRS and slipstream range of F1 Amazing Hour. Are there any other drivers in the pit still? Mackenzie is in the pit lane. So is Crossy, F1. It's currently Storm Mackenzie, Pete Crichton and Crossy are all in the pit lane. You see, there is the Mercedes driver of Pete heading out of the pit lane now. Plebs is now kind of come across the line. How tight will it be between him and the Pete Crichton? He's actually going to lose a spot here at Plebs is to Stuart Mackenzie. This is Pete heading through turn 2 now and Plebs is just heading into turn 1. But now as it stands still, Darren leads away. Swaggy's actually now got ahead of F1 Amazing Hour. And I think Amazing Hour's actually got an issue here because he's backed off massively and I think he's just put it in the wall. So I'm not too sure what's happened here. So Amazing Hour has actually put it in the wall again. So I'm not too sure what's happening here with F1 Amazing Hour. But currently the championship leader is having a few issues by the looks of it. He's going to come into the pits this lap, but he's also dropped a heap of time to Swaggy and also it will be Pete Crichton that will most likely come out ahead of his rival F1 Amazing Hour. Amazing Hour did also lose front wing, so he will have to replace it. But now that puts Toddster into the lead of the Grand Prix as he has started on the medium tyres. So has I Contrast. Spilly, I don't believe, has made a pit stop. He has not, so he's staying out a little bit longer. His teammate is in the pit, was just in the pit lane on the previous lap. Aaron is in P4 at the moment for Haas. Harry Tomato up into P5. But Darren is the first of the drivers to make a stop so far. It's currently Darren 11, who is technically in the lead at the moment ahead of Pete Crichton. Swaggy's going to come out in P3. Storm Mackenzie in P4. 5th will be Players, 6th will be 40, 7th will be J Banks, 8th Crossy. And look at F1 Amazing Hour, he's dropped all the way back down to P9, so I'm not too sure what's happened to the Williams driver. Possibly could have happened there, TJ. Now J Banks, the first of the drivers I do believe that have got a time penalty here this afternoon. He's got a 3-second for multiple corner cutting warnings. Probably won't be the last of the time penalties. Now we see Spilly into the pits for Racing Point, just pulls it up. Aaron moves ahead of him now as he did actually start on the hard tyre, did the Haas driver. So he'll be going very far into the race. There's Darren 11 and P. Crichton moving ahead now. So give us an idea of where F1 Amazing Hour ended up coming out. Who is that going side by side? That is now 40 and Plebs going at it. J Banks is right there as well. Will he try and go down the inside of Plebs? Plebs makes a move very late, but unfortunately it looks like Plebs has just swooped around the outside, or manages to keep the position, I should say. Definitely made a very late move there, did Plebs, but it didn't result in any contact, but he will have slipstream down the short straight. Will J Banks? Plebs defends the inside line, heading into turn 4 they go. They're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 4, into turn 5. It looks like J Banks is going to hold it around the outside, and he's going to push Plebs out wide. They did make contact there. Could they have potentially given Plebs a bit of front wing damage? Doesn't look like it, but he's still going. But currently, the top 4 at the moment have not made a pit stop. The Harry Tomato still on the soft tyres, so he's running very long into this race. Voice cracks are crazy right now. But anyway, F1 Amazing out now has a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting. So now we only have the top 3 that have not made a pit stop yet. Them being Toddster 99 in the Renault, iContrast F1 for Ferrari, and P3. And that's actually now, I think that's Harry Tomato that's unfortunately spun around. No, he's actually just coming to the pit lane for his pit stop. I forgot about that. Toddy still leads the way. MP1 for Renault as it stands. 40 now, has a 3-second time penalty, I should say. Down in P9. So we'll probably be seeing Aaron out on the track for a while, considering he is on that hard compounded tyre. Plebs has now got a 3-second time penalty, down in P10. As it stands, he's got his the McLaren driver in front of him. 40 in front of him. J Banks now goes fastest with a 1 minute 17.125 form of the Mercedes AMG F1 team. He's got actually Stuart McKenzie in front of him. He's got slipstream and DRS down this main straight. Doesn't make a move into turn 1, but he made massive meters on Stuart McKenzie, heading into the braking zone alone in turn 1. Gets a nice exit off turn 3 under the Rolex board he goes. He's got a lot better traction and speed down the straight. They're going to go side by side into turn 4, but it looks like Stuart McKenzie has backed out of that. He's going to sit behind J Banks for a while and try and potentially. And look, that's actually amazing out there. That has run into the back of Spilly, and he definitely did lose front wing. There, he's got no left front. He's got no front left end plate. Has F1 Amazing out. I don't know what actually happened there, but it definitely looked like that the leader, our championship leader, Amazing Out, just ran into the back of Spilly. And now he has front wing damage, and this is not looking good for our championship leader. But the person that will be laughing the most, will be wanting this the most, is this man, P. Crichton. Because this is only going to edge him closer and closer towards the end of the season. There's only 3 rounds remaining, that being the Circuit of the Americas, Interlagos, and the Yas Marina Circuit at... that's actually F1 Amazing Out that is now retired from the session. He's in the wall. Our championship leader is in the wall at the final corner. I'm not sure what's actually happened there. Is he having a few technical difficulties? Because he did have... It looked like that he did have a bit of an issue at the beginning, or just before he came to the pits, but we're going to see here. Well, Gaming Life is, unfortunately, his car has gone away. But our championship leader has now retired from the session. And that's, I'm trying to think of the points now. That's going to make the, if Pete wins this race, there's going to be 12 points, I do believe, between the 2 drivers of P. Crichton and F1 Amazing Hour. So at this stage, Peach has got to get into the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Darren, because the front 3 have still yet to make a pit stop. Them being iContrast, Toddster, and Aaron L3F4. And now Aaron looks like he's just got ahead of Toddster, because Toddy is in the pit lane now. Best of the medium drivers to react. iContrast is staying out for another lap. That's actually amazing. Well, that's actually really good, because as you can see here, I'm going to quickly swap it over. As you can see on the screen, that is the championship points. 301 points has Pete Ryan and 337 has F1 Amazing Hour. So I do believe that is 12 points between them if Pete wins, I should say. But now Crossy's actually just got himself a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. No stops for eye contrast? Maybe. Making some more meme videos for his channel, maybe. Darren here, as you can see, he's trying to break the slipstream from Pete Crichton. Darren may get overtaken this lap. Here on the main straight. So now that is eye contrast in the pit lane. So now Aaron will be the only driver that has not made a pit stop as he is on the hard compound tyre. So he'll be going very long into this race. There's now 19 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Swaggy is now caught up to the rear of Pete Crichton and Darren Levin. J Banks is also right there. Still McKenzie's got a little bit of a gap between him and J Banks in front. So the top four are now all converging on each other. Well, the theoretical top four. The actual top four. Aaron is still yet to make a pit stop, but these drivers are definitely catching up to that Haas driver. Riding on board here with the Alfa Romeo driver of Swaggy. As he's heading through the middle sector in that Alfa Romeo car. As I say, Pete Crichton definitely needs to start saving a little bit of ERS here. The driver in first, that of Darren Levin, currently has just around 70% ERS compared to Pete Crichton on that 30%, 29-ish%. So he's definitely going to have to do a bit of saving, especially down the straight in the slipstream and DRS, as he is getting a lot closer now to the rear of that Toro Rosso. So at the moment, I'd definitely be chucking it into none and just sitting behind Darren for a little bit. He's not even running DRS here. Here's Pete Crichton, doesn't want to get ahead of that Toro Rosso. He's just trying to save as much ERS as possible. Swaggy is right there as well. He's starting to catch up to the rear of Pete Crichton. So Pete's using a little bit of ERS here. He's just running into medium. He was running there. It's definitely going to be a tie battle towards the end of the race, especially between these top four. Have to remember from that qualifying session, as you can see, Swaggy's right under that rear wing of Pete Crichton, heading through turn 6 and 7. Through 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 they go. Turn 12, very easy to cut the inside of that corner. You see Pete's got that ERS just under 50%. So Darren's actually got 86 now, so they're both saving ERS at about the same rate, but Darren hasn't used as much at the beginning of the race. You see he's got a very nice run here now. Has Pete Crichton. He's going to go down the inside of Darren 11. I don't think Darren will make this too much of a battle here, as he knows Pete is quicker. Will Swaggy try and make a move on Darren? He doesn't. He sits behind him for a little bit longer. J Banks is right there as well. Nearly makes contact with the rear of the Alfa Romeo there. Did J Banks. Darren 11 now. MP2 has a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting. Hello Fran, welcome to the stream. Still McKenzie now has a 3-second time penalty down in P7. He started to catch up to the rear of 40. The 40's also trying to catch up to the rear of J Banks at the same time. Plebs has got a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch up to that Williams in front of him. Spilly's in the same boat. By contrast, looks like he's going to begin getting caught by Crossy behind him. Todsa running a pretty lonely race at the moment in P12, same as the Hairy Tomato on the Gaming Wave, making his second stop now for Red Bull. Aaron has now finally came into the pits. So he'll be doing a 16 lap stint on that set of soft tyres, most likely. Let's see what compound Aaron puts on. He actually puts on a set of mediums, so that's kind of interesting. Doesn't use a soft compound tyre. Does Aaron. It's actually a lap car in front. I do believe that is the gaming wafer. It is the gaming wafer. But as you can see now, Pete already has no ERS left. 6% already. He's honestly just got to be running none for the whole of this lap except for the main straight. So at the moment he can't afford to put it up at all. He's just got to run none, so he can't even afford to put it into low. There's actually a yellow flag now in Sector 2. What's that for? Says there's something happening up here, but I think that might just be a local yellow. We're going to run on board with Plebs as he's heading up to where it potentially happened. I think it may just be a local yellow. Not too sure what's happened, but anyway. That's actually there. Stuart McKenzie running very wide, and Darren has now got another 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings. So now he's got his time penalties up to 6 seconds. That is not good for the Toro Rosso driver. Who's that coming into the pits? That's actually Jay Banks now, who's coming to the pits. I'm not too sure. He may have had a bit of front wing damage, unfortunately. He's struck on a set of medium tyres to go to the end of the race, most likely. Not too sure what's happened to him, but there's still that yellow flag through turn 1. Not too sure what that's for. Be nice to have a safety car because it'll bunch everyone back up, but now it looks like there will just be now a 3-man race for the win of this Mexican Grand Prix. Aaron's now moved ahead of Crossy. Heading into turn 4 they go. Aaron ran really deep into the corner. Looks like he's lagging around a little bit, so hopefully he can resolve that. Now that moves the Harsh driver up into P9. A lot of these drivers are on the hard compounded tyre. Aaron being on a fresh set of mediums, he's going to be really quick towards the end, or the end stint of this race. See all these drivers at the moment on the hard compounded tyre. Yellow flag in sector 3. That's actually now the gaming wafer. I think he's just trying to let everyone through, to be honest. Although his car does ghost, but I think he's just trying to get out of the way. Now Pecan has been overtaken by Darren. Heading through turn 1, there's another change for the lead of the Grand Prix. Swaggy's starting to fall off that train a little bit. There's a lot of ERS to use the Swaggy. Darren has around 50%, but Pete still has no ERS to use. He's trying to save it as much as he can. But now Stuart McKenzie and 40 are going at it. Heading into turn 6 and 7, McKenzie's got the inside line. 40's going to try and hang it around the outside. He will. Most likely have the better traction. He's pushed onto the entry curb. Is McKenzie. 40 runs a little bit wide and he's forced to back out of the accelerator. Was McKenzie, and unfortunately he's going to get a lot of dirty air here from that McLaren in front of him. McKenzie's trying to move himself up into that top 4. Unfortunately, he has to settle. 4P5 as it stands. Plebs is still just starting to catch up to the rear of that back now. So is Spilly. He's catching up to the rear of the Renault in front of him. Contrast has now been caught by Aaron, who's on a fresh set of medium tyres. I think Aaron's lagging around a little bit, unfortunately. So you can see Pete just trying to save as much ERS as possible. I don't believe he does have any wing damage. But now Stuart McKenzie has finally moved himself up into the top 4. And 40's actually stuck his nose in there. Heading into through turn 2, McKenzie got a little bit of oversteer, but now the gaming wafer down in P14 has unfortunately retired from the session. Could this bring out the first safety car here for this afternoon's Mexican Grand Prix? Hopefully it does. Aaron has now left the session, so I think he's lagging around a little bit, unfortunately. He was looking very quick towards the end of this race, considering he was on that fresh set of mediums. And unfortunately, he is disconnected from the session. Still that yellow flag in sector 3. Could that safety car be coming out? Well, I definitely hope it does. Contrasters now managed to get ahead of Aaron still. The game away from now being our second retirement of the Mexican Grand Prix. The first one being our championship leader of F1 Amazing, who could not afford to lose any points whatsoever. But as you can see, this is Pete making a change for the lead. Of the lead, I should say. Moving ahead of Darren 11. Yellow flags through sector 1. Probably is the Gaming Wafers car. Now his car's disappeared. So now Darren's moved back down to P2. Crossy's now got ahead of Aaron's Ghost car up into P9. That Racing Point driver goes. Toddy's now moved up into P10. Be the last of the drivers to score a point here for this afternoon's Mexican Grand Prix. Darren ran really wide. On the entry to the stadium section, J-Banks down in P11 has now got a 3-second time penalty. I do believe he just passed Aaron's Ghost car. Looks of it he did. R18 will be the next one to do so. 11 laps remain in this Grand Prix. So Pete needs to win this race if he wants any chance of winning this championship. And now Darren goes down his inside. A very late move there from the Toro Rosso driver. He moves himself up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Pete still has no ERS to fight with. He's sitting in none down the straight. What's Swaggy running in? He's running in none as well, trying to save as much as possible. He has 80% ERS, has Swaggy. So if he really wanted to, I think he'll be saving it for the end of the Grand Prix. He can really pounce at both of these drivers, as he does have a lot of ERS to use. Plebs is now right on the rear of 40. Heading into sector 2 they go. P. Crichton now, our race leader, has a 3-second time penalty. So Darren has 6 seconds. I'm not too sure. I want to have a quick look here to see if Swaggy does have any time penalties. I don't believe he actually does have one time penalty. Has Swaggy. He's actually got 2. Has Swaggy. And he's got 2 warnings already done. Now Swaggy looks like he's a lot closer this lap. Will he make a move onto the second step of the podium? So it looks like Pete's going to try and make a move for the lead of the Grand Prix. He's going to go down the inside on Darren 11. He gets a move done. But it looks like it locks up the inside front very slightly there. And now he's moved into the lead of the Grand Prix again. Swaggy's still right there with his little battle pack. Darren's trying to make a move stick. He's up into overtake, so he is trying to make a move on P. Crichton for the lead of the Grand Prix. Ten laps remain in this Grand Prix. Also before, Plebs has moved ahead of 40, who I think just had to make another pit stop. He's now on that fresh set of soft tyres. I don't think he was aiming to do a 2-stop, but unfortunately with that medium compounded tyre, just was never going to last till the end of the race. Swaggy has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Darren has 6 seconds. I didn't have a quick look as well to see what Pete had. I believe he only has one warning. Sorry, one penalty. He does. So he only has 3 seconds worth of penalties. Does Pete Crichton. So he plays looking really quick at the end of this Grand Prix. He is doing the 2-stop as well. So himself and 40 are opting to use the 2-stop strategy. So I'm not too sure why. Because I think it's going to be a bit slower, to be honest, than the 1-stop. But see how this works out for them. 40 will be really quick though towards the end of this race, as he is on that soft compounded tyre and the other drivers are all on that hard. So Pete's still struggling on that ERS management. Still sitting around that 35 mark compared to Swaggy, who's on just under 90%. Darren is on 70. Darren still leads away. Heading onto the straight now. Will we see P-Crime make a move again for the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, as they are now starting lap 28 of 36. Eight laps remain in this Grand Prix. He's going to go to the outside now as P-Crime. It looks like he's got the move done on Darren 11, but he's actually trying to fight it back now. Here's a Toro Rosso driver. Will he be able to get the crisscross done? He's tried to make it stick through turn 2 and 3, but unfortunately Pete defended his line very nicely. Darren sitting behind him in his slipstream. 40 has now gone faster with the 16.6. Looking very quick on that soft compounded tyre. I want to see it very massively there. Did Darren 11, but I think Swaggy tried to make a move on Darren there, but just opted to sat behind him for a couple more laps. And now Darren has another time penalty, so that's up to 9 seconds worth of penalties now for Darren. So we'll have a quick look here to see. At this stage, he will just fall behind Stuart McKenzie. He's run right again there, has Darren. Still struggling. He's actually out of DRS range now, is Darren. So now Swaggy's going to have to try and make a move down this straight. He's still running in none, so Pete's just getting away massively here. He's got 0 ERS available to him. Plebs now goes fastest on the 16.2. So the two drivers that are actually doing the two-stop strategy at the moment are going really quick, but I feel like it is a bit too late in the Grand Prix because they're not going to gain up the positions that they lost in the pit stops. Heading into the hairpin now does Pete. Darren's caught back up to him now. He's got that gap under 1 second, I should say. He is now within the DRS range of the Mercedes in front of him. He's got a very nice toe down the straight here. Does Darren go to the inside? He does. Another move change or another lead change in this Mexican Grand Prix. 6 laps remain as well. Where we see Swaggy try and make a move on these drivers as he has got the most DRS. He's been sitting behind these drivers for a while now. J Banks has now moved ahead of I Contrast down the straight into P6. Not the racing point. The Mercedes driver goes, moving Contrast back down to P7. Currently the driver that has moved up the most spots is Stuart McKenzie and I Contrast. Little tight competition there for driver of the day. Peter's still there. He's trying to save ERS again behind Darren. But Swaggy's now sitting on 90% ERS. So he'll be wanting to just make a move as soon as possible, but I wouldn't be surprised if he waits to the last 2 or 3 laps just so that Pete and Darren in front of him can't get the DRS back on him. Pete's going to try and make another move now on Darren. Into turn 1 they go. Under the Petronas sign, he moves back into the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Darren 11. He locks up the inside front though again, does Pete. Stuart McKenzie and Spilly are actually going at it now for the battle of P4. I think Stuart McKenzie just made a move on the Racing Point driver. Actually, no, Spilly's trying to make a move on Stuart McKenzie, I should say. McKenzie gets turn 4 all wrong there. He's trying to do the under and over. It's Spilly. McKenzie defends the inside line nicely, though. Spilly looking a lot quicker here at the moment. Jay Banks is trying to catch up to the rear of that train. 40 has now got Toddster in front of him. 5 laps remain in this Grand Prix. Spilly's still trying to make a move on Stuart McKenzie. Look how much Jay Banks just caught up to the rear of Spilly there. Will McKenzie be able to defend it from Spilly? He does have the slipstream and DRS to Spilly. He goes to the outside, heading into turn 1, the Racing Point, and Williams goes deep under brakes, so was Spilly, and he goes right around the outside of Stuart McKenzie, but McKenzie will not have DRS down the straight though. Spilly will, but he gets on the curb though, does McKenzie, and it pushes him out wide, or narrow on the exit of the corner, I should say. But Spilly does have DRS to defend that line or this position, and he moves himself up into P4 for Racing Point. But now Swaggy has finally made a move on P. Crichton. Up into P2, Swaggy goes. Just a reminder as well, P. Crichton heading into this race was sitting on 301 points in P2, and P1, or our championship leader of F1 Amazia, has unfortunately retired from the race. I think due to a technical difficulty, I'm not too sure, but he was sitting on 337 points. So if P. Crichton can win this race this afternoon, that will edge him much closer to the points gap. Well, it will close the points gap as now Swaggy now moves into the lead of the Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo. So now that moves Alfa Romeo. He was waiting as Swaggy was sitting behind these two drivers in front for ages, considering he had a lot of ERS, but now Mackenzie's made another move back on Spilly for P4. That Williams up back into P4. Jay Banks is caught up to the rear of that little train there as well. Contrast is going to be trying to do that. But now Jay Banks goes down the inside of Spilly, heading into turn 4 they go. Just narrowly misses the Williams there, does Jay Banks, but he moves himself up into P5, does the Mercedes driver. Will we see Swaggy pull away here? Pete's fallen off that train just there ever so slightly, as he did make a mistake through the final corner on the previous lap. Struggling with the DRS here is Pete. So I don't think Pete will want to settle for P3. He'll definitely want to win this race to get maximum points. Darren gets a lot of oversteer there on exit. Gets a nice run though out of turn 3. Does Darren. Will Swaggy defend the inside line? He does defend the inside line, but Darren's trying to hang it around the outside. He's trying to do the under and over. Will he be able to do it on the exit of turn 5, sorry. Swaggy defends the inside line of turn 6 and 7. And manages to hold on to P1. That moves Pete back up into that train. But I remember as well, Darren does have 9 seconds worth of penalty. Swaggy has 6 seconds, I do believe. Pete only has 3. So at this stage, Pete will win the race due to time penalties. The drivers are about to start now. The penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. I just want to double check real quick that Pete does only have 3 seconds worth of penalties. He has 1 warning as well. He's got to stay within that 3 second mark of Swaggy. Darren now trying to go back down the inside of Swaggy, and he's got the move done. Again has Darren, so he's going to move back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Defends the inside very briefly, heading into turn 1, so Swaggy can't do a dive bomb on him. He will have DRS again. Will Darren to defend his position down this back straight, or the second DRS straight, I should say. So Pete's falling off that train ever so slightly. He needs to catch up and keep within that 3-second window of Swaggy, because Darren's definitely going to drop behind Pete Crichton, as he does have 9 seconds worth of penalties, but Zach cannot afford, or Pete I should say, cannot afford another time penalty to his name. But he must stay within that 3-second mark of Swaggy. He's currently got 1.3 or 1.2 seconds between him and Swaggy, as now these two are going, or these three are starting the final lap of the Mexican Grand Prix. Swaggy's going to try and most likely make a move on Darren. He's going to try and go into his slipstream. Heading down the main straight, they go there. He's weaving all over the track now. It's Darren to break the slipstream. He defends the inside line as he's able to. Swaggy's going to go around the outside. They make contact there as Darren and Swaggy heading into turn 1. Swaggy looked like he just turned across Darren, or turned in too early, and now Swaggy has another 3-second time penalty. So now these two are dead even at it. So now it's whoever wins out of Darren and Swaggy, because they both have 9 seconds worth of penalties. So this little battle here will be the battle. I think they will drop behind Jay Banks by the looks of it. I'm going to set this to leader. So unfortunately they will drop behind Jay Banks at this stage. Need that Aaron to go away. See where they are, what the relative is to Spilly and Stuart McKenzie, but those two are actually going at it here. Spilly and Stuart McKenzie are going to go side by side on the final lap. 40 now is another 3-second time penalty. But as you can see now, McKenzie's got 10 seconds at this stage. Darren and Swaggy will fall behind. What's his name? Jay Banks. They're heading into the final sector now. Pete doesn't actually need to make a move on Swaggy here. But now Darren 11 is going to come across the line. He's going to win the Mexican Grand Prix on track. But Pete Crichton is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix. After time penalties, he's going to take home a full 25 points. I do not believe he did have the fast lap. No, Plebs had the fastest lap in the end. So at this stage, you can see Darren's going to come home in P2. P3 is going to be Spilly for Racing Point. P4 will be Swaggy. Somehow he's moved up all the way up in the P4. P5 will be Eye Contrast F1. Nice recovery drive from him. He's moved up 8 spots. He will most likely be driver of the day. P6 will be Plebs, leading his teammate Toddster in P7. P8 will be Jay Banks. P9 will be 40-22, and rounding out your top 10, taking home one singular point, will be Stuart McKenzie. Cross is going to come home P11 as well for the Harry Tomato, and then Harry Tomato will come home P12. That has been your AOR Hype Energy PS4 Oceania Mexican Grand Prix. You can see the drivers heading out to the podium now. For the podium celebrations. So here we are, as you can see, Pete Crichton took out the win. Driver of the day, also, just as I saw there, stricken, it will be Plebs, sorry, not Plebs, it will be Contrast, as he did move up the most spots. He moved up 8 spots. But it will be Pete Crichton that takes out the win, taking home a full 25 points. That will leave a 12 point lead gap, or lead, for F1 Amazing Hour in the end. So there'll be 12 points between Pete Crichton and Amazing Hour for the championship decider. Darren 11's going to come home P2 for Toro Rosso. P3 will be the Racing Point of Spilly. P4 will be the Alfa Romeo of Swaggy. P5 and our driver of the day will be Eye Contrast F1. P6 will be the 2 Renaults. P6 and 7 I should say will be the 2 Renaults of Plebs and Toddser. P8 will be J Banks for Mercedes. P9 will be 40, not 22 in the McLaren. Rounding out your top 10, taking home 1 point will be Stuart McKenzie. Crossy in P11, 12th Harry Tomato, 13th Aaron, 14th Gaming Wafer, and rounding out your top 15. Sorry, I should say Gaming Wafer and F1 Amazing did retire from the session But that has been your AOR Hype Energy PS4 Oceania Mexican Grand Prix. If you guys are new around here, please do hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for next week at the US Grand Prix. There'll be a 12-point gap between Pete Crichton and F1 Amazing Hour for the championship. 3 rounds main as well. My name is Expert. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you guys next time.